has built up, and now it is hurting and affecting your fish. Ammonia. What is ammonia? Ammonia is a breakdown of excrements from your fish. So if your fish poops, which all fish do, well, as the poop and debris is breaking down, it can cause ammonia to start building up. So ammonia is a chemical that comes from those excrements breaking down in your tank. That is why it's so important to make sure that your ammonia levels do not get out of whack. One big way that you can tell that your fish do have ammonia poisoning is, or if there's too much ammonia in the aquarium, but especially ammonia poisoning, is that they'll have very red or inflamed gills and they'll be at the surface of the water. There is more oxygen at the surface of the water, and that is why your fish with those inflamed gills are trying to gasp for air up there, because the ammonia is making it hard for them to breathe and get that oxygen. Water may also appear to be murky, and this can also be a sign that the tank is not fully cycled, so make sure that you test your aquarium water. Always super important. The easiest way to fix ammonia poisoning, so if your ammonia levels get to that point where your fish are indeed gasping for air, make sure to just do water changes every couple of days between 30 and 50% and replacing it with new water until the fish's water parameters in their aquarium go back to normal. So until the ammonia is back at a safe zone. Along with doing water changes, make sure that you are indeed though using a gravel vac, or if you have sand in the aquarium, stir the sand up with your hand. The reason why I say this is lots of those debris that break down will get stuck, and they'll break down in your gravel. They'll get stuck in your gravel, stuck in your sand. And if they're breaking down in there, lots of the ammonia then can be in the gravel and sand. And so then lots of the ammonia poisoning will come from your sand. So lots of the ammonia will be coming from your sand or substrate, gravel, whatever you have. So make sure that on top of cleaning out water and replacing it with new water, make sure that you are also cleaning out your gravel. Never take your gravel out or your sand out and wash it with chlorine water, tap water. The reason being for this is because you will kill any beneficial bacteria that will be in your gravel and sand. So just use a gravel vac to clean out the gravel, as well as sifting sand with your hands to stir it up. By doing this, you'll be able to clear out your sand or gravel and any debris that is breaking down in there. This is also especially important if you have bottom-dwelling fish like loaches or catfish, plecos. They like to hang out along the bottom of the aquarium a lot, and so they can be most susceptible to getting this ammonia poisoning if the gravel and sand isn't cleaned with regular water changes. Along with proper water changes to keep your ammonia at bay, make sure that you're also using an up-to-date food, make sure that you're not overcrowding your aquarium, and most of all, make sure that when you start up your aquarium, don't add the fish all at once. Enjoy taking your time with it so that your filtration has time to catch up with the new bioload. Every new fish that you add into your tank is gonna excrete waste, and that waste is gonna break down into ammonia. So if you add 20 new fish all at once, that's gonna overload your filter. So make sure that you're adding those fish into your new aquarium slowly so it's not overloading your filter, and make sure that you have enough filtration for your aquarium. So if you have a 50-gallon aquarium, have at least 50 gallons worth of filtration. This way, your tank is able to handle all of the fish inside, all of the excrement, and all of the ammonia. And something that we like to do for our own aquariums, we always like to have more filtration. So if we have a 50-gallon aquarium, we like to add on an extra 20 gallons, or we like to add an extra 50 gallons. This way, we have more than enough filtration for the bioload of fish, because even though 50 gallons of filtration is perfect for a 50-gallon aquarium, it just helps so much, and this way you don't have to worry about your ammonia going out of whack as well. Now, something really important to also know about ammonia in your aquarium is if you have too much ammonia, it can actually burn your fish. It's really sad, but I'll show you guys. I'll attach a picture of what ammonia burns look like. It's a real thing and it's really sad. And so these are a couple of pictures that I found of fish that have been burnt. You can see it's on the gills, it's on the main body, and those are areas of the fish that have gotten burnt from too much ammonia in the aquarium. The other thing that I just wanted to make aware of is that chlorine is also fatal for fish because it will burn your fish. Fish need dechlorinated water, and if the water isn't dechlorinated, the chlorine will also burn the fish, as well as the chlorine will be absorbed into the fish's bloodstream, causing internal damage and burns as well. So always make sure that you are also dechlorinating your water so that your fish don't have to get burnt from the chlorine. So with any water changes and new water going into your aquarium, always dechlorinate that water to make sure there's no chlorine. Always dechlorinate. Make sure that you're also really watching your fish because ammonia burns sometimes don't show up until a couple of days later. So make sure that you're looking for frayed fins, loss of appetite, cloudy eyes, or rapid breathing. Also, I think I touched upon this a little bit earlier in the video, but ammonia can also lead to bacterial infections and fungal infections, and so you want to make sure that if you see any red streaks or red splotches forming on your fish, that can be a big indicator that now from the ammonia, they also have a bacterial infection or a fungal infection. But even before the ammonia will even get to this point with your fish, something to already look out for is that if your fish is making more mucus than usual. By making more mucus, they're trying to strengthen their slime coat. Every fish has a slime coat, and a slime coat is what protects fish from all of these diseases. But the issue with creating too much mucus is that in the end, fish can actually clog up their gills, and this can make it hard for them to breathe. So you'll see them gasping for air, along with the fish will usually look more pale because of its increase in mucus to help its slime coat. And that is already a big indicator that your fish is going to suffer from ammonia poisoning, and that is probably the first stage before it can get really, really bad where you'll see a chemical burn. But even low levels of ammonia already are stressing out your fish because they are trying to increase their slime coat to protect themselves, but it can clog up their gills. That can be a good indicator that your filtration can't keep up with the bioload. So if there are too many fish and the beneficial bacteria in the filtration can't cope with the amount of bioload, they can't keep up with the amount of bioload being released. So more bioload is being released than what the beneficial bacteria can break down. That is why, once again, it is so important to not overload your filtration by overloading your aquarium with too many fish and making sure to stay on top of your water changes. Even well-cycled aquariums are still susceptible to ammonia poisoning if fish are indeed added too quickly. Along with, if you buy new fish from the store, do not add the water from the bag, because lots of fish on the car ride home, it can be stressful. There can still be lots of excrements, and so there can be lots of ammonia built up in the bag. So make sure to just add the fish and not the store's water, because you could be adding all that ammonia to your tank. And one final tip I'm going to say on ammonia poisoning is do not overfeed your fish. By overfeeding your fish, that means they will excrete more waste, which means that in the long run, there can be more ammonia because of more excrement into the aquarium. And even as we explored, small doses of ammonia can be so damaging, so huge doses of ammonia can even be fatal to fish. So always do your best with staying on top of your water changes. Make sure that you're testing your water, you don't overload your filtration, you have enough filtration, and you're just taking all of these little things to help the betterment of your fish. So even though ammonia poisoning might not explicitly be labeled as a disease, it is a very real thing in aquariums, and it's not the greatest thing either, and it can be very damaging on your fish. So I hope that these tips and pointers could be of help, especially in understanding how ammonia affects your fish from small amounts to huge amounts, since ammonia really does affect your fish a lot. But with that, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care and happy fish keeping. Bye.